Good morning, everybody. Today's topic for lecture is upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron. From here we can see that upper motor neurons, they arise in the primary motor cortex and they are extended up to the brainstem region, either brainstem region or the spinal cord. That is, the descending tracts or the descending pathways, they constitute the upper motor neurons. That is corticospinal tract and corticobulbar tracts. They constitute in majority the upper motor neurons. The upper motor neurons, they are entirely within the CNS. They originate in cerebral cortex, cerebellum and brainstem. And descending tracts, they form the upper motor neurons. Now, the upper motor neurons, if there is lesion of upper motor neuron, the lesion can be due to hemorrhage, or most common cause of upper motor neuron lesion is the stroke. There will be the features of upper motor neurons will be increased muscle tone, that is known as spasticity, no muscle atrophy. There is no muscle atrophy in the upper motor neuron lesion, but if the upper motor neuron lesion continues for longer duration, it might cause disuse atrophy. In case of upper motor neuron lesion, the muscles, they are affected in groups. That is, not a single muscle is affected. It is not the single muscle paralysis. It is a group of muscles which is affected. In case of upper motor neuron lesion, the tendon reflexes, they are exaggerated and there is loss of superficial reflexes. And in case of upper motor neuron lesion, the Babinski sign is positive, that is extensor plantar response we observe. The nerve conduction, however, is not affected. Now, the physiological basis of upper motor neuron lesions. First is spasticity. The spasticity of the neuron, it is spasticity of the muscle, it is because of increased discharge of motor neurons and increased excitability of the alpha motor neurons. Because the upper motor, these descending tracts, they are basically inhibitory. They synapse with the majority of the descending tracts. As you know, they synapse with the alpha motor neurons via inhibitory interneurons, and because of that, their output, the output of the upper motor neurons is inhibitory to the alpha motor neuron. Now, if there is lesion to these upper motor neurons or the descending tracts, there will be the inhibitory control over the alpha motor neuron is abolished, and because of that there is increased discharge of increased excitability and increased discharge of alpha motor neurons. Basically the loss of inhibitory control, as I had told you, it is attributed to in vestibulospinal tract and reticulospinal tract. The vestibulospinal tract and the reticulospinal tract, they are mainly, if there is inhibitory loss of these two tracts, there results in, that is the majority of spasticity results in via the loss of inhibitory control in vestibulospinal tract and the reticulospinal tract. Now, the absence, as I had told you, that the upper motor neuron lesion, it is never associated with muscle atrophy. If the upper motor neuron lesion continues for a longer duration, then disuse atrophy may result. It is because of the blood supply or the nerve supply to the muscle. In case of upper motor neuron lesion, the either blood supply or the nerve supply to the muscle, it is not disrupted, it is continuous. And that is why if atrophy occurs, it is because of disuse of the muscle. Now, in case of upper motor neuron lesion, the deep tendon reflexes, they become exaggerated. Why these deep tendon reflexes, they become exaggerated? Because of increased gamma motor neuron discharge, which increases the sensitivity of the muscle spindle to stretch. These upper motor neurons or the descending tracts, they synapse with the gamma motor neurons also, and they control the discharge of gamma motor neurons. The gamma motor neurons, they are, if this inhibitory control of descending tracts is lost, there will be increased gamma motor neuron discharge and there will be increased sensitivity of the muscle spindle to the stretch. And because of that, the deep tendon reflexes, they are exaggerated in nature. Or sometimes we observe clonus also, that is exaggerated response of ankle reflex. There is loss of the upper motor neuron lesion is associated with the loss of superficial reflexes. The superficial reflexes, they are the polysynaptic reflexes, unlike the stretch reflexes, which are monosynaptics. Here, these afferent pathways, they ascend in the ascending sensory system. The afferent pathway for the superficial reflexes, they ascend in the ascending sensory system, and the efferent pathways, they are the descending tracts. For superficial reflexes, the efferent pathways are the descending tracts, and therefore, and in case of upper motor neuron lesion, these descending tracts, they are lesioned, and so the efferent pathway is blocked, and because of the blockage of this efferent pathway, the superficial reflexes, they get abolished. Then now is the extensor. Normally the plantar response, it is flexor in nature, but in the case of upper motor neuron lesion, this response, the plantar response, it becomes extensor. That is, if we stroke the sole of the foot, there will be extension of the big toe and the fanning of the other toes. This is known as Babinski sign positive, because the corticospinal influence on the lumbosacral motor neurons, it is disrupted. If it is intact, the corticospinal influence, it will cause the flexion. It will cause the flexion plantar response. Because of in the upper motor neuron lesion, there is disruption of the corticospinal influence on the lumbosacral motor neurons, and that causes the dorsiflexion of the big toe and the fanning of the other toes. That is, Babinski sign is positive. The Babinski sign is positive normally also in case of children below the age of 2 years. Until they do not start walking, because the connection between the upper descending tracts and the lower motor neurons, it is not established properly in infants and the young children, and that is why in them we get the Babinski sign positive. Normally also, that is a normal occurrence. It is not abnormal in case of children below the age of 2 years. The Babinski sign is always positive because the corticospinal tracts and the lower motor neuron connectivity is not developed properly in infants and the young children, and that is why the Babinski sign remains positive in case of young in them. So these are the features of upper motor neuron lesions. In case of upper motor neuron lesion, if a person has got the upper motor neuron lesion, the person will complain of stiffness of the joint and difficulty in relaxing the joints, in relaxing the limbs. The person will come with the complaint of stiffness of the joint and relaxation of the complete. And if we try to move passively the joint, we find there is clasp knife rigidity. That is, initially there is increase because of the hypertonia. There is increased resistance for the passive relaxation, passive flexor extensor movement. There will be increased tone, but later on, and after a certain distance, immediately the extension of the joint, it occurs. Immediately the extension, and that is because of release of tension in the spontaneous release of tension in the Golgi tendon organs. So in case of upper motor neuron lesion, we observe clasp knife rigidity if the joint is moved passively. Now, the lower motor neurons. The lower motor neurons, they begin in the CNS and they form from the anterior horns of the spinal cord, from the brainstem cranial nerve nuclei. They are made up of alpha motor neurons and they make up the spinal and the cranial nerves. So all these, that is alpha motor neurons, spinal and cranial nerves, they are the lower motor neurons. If they usually begin in the brainstem region and in the CNS they may begin, and they may arise from the brainstem region and the anterior horn of the spinal cord. The features of the lower motor neuron lesions, that is the flaccid paralysis. Flaccid paralysis, that is the muscles, they are hypotonic and there is pronounced muscle atrophy. In this case, the individual muscles, they are affected. In the lower motor neurons, the individual muscles are affected and the tendon reflexes, they are diminished or absent. Superficial reflexes are lost, and here the Babinski sign is not elicited. If it is present, it is the flexor plantar response is there. And involuntary movements like fascicular twitches are observed in case of lower motor neuron lesions. The nerve conduction is decreased. The lower motor neuron, the muscles, they are flaccid or they are hypotonic because the nerve supply to the individual muscle, it is abolished or it is disrupted, and that is why the nerve supply or the blood supply to the muscle is abolished or disrupted, and that is why the muscles, they show hypotonia or there is pronounced muscle atrophy. And each muscle, the individual muscles, they are affected. The tendon reflexes, as there is the arc, the efferent ligament, efferent arm of the reflex arc is disrupted, and that is why the tendon reflexes, they are diminished or they are absent. The superficial reflexes, as you know, the superficial reflexes, because of the disruption of the efferent path of the lower to the muscle, it is disrupted, and that is why the superficial reflexes, they are also lost. In this case, the plantar response is elicited and Babinski sign is absent. And individual muscles, they show the fascicular twitches. Fascicular twitches are there in the individual muscles and nerve conduction is decreased. differences in the upper motor neuron paralysis and the lower motor neuron paralysis. In case of upper motor neuron paralysis, the muscles they are affected in groups, not the individual muscles they are affected. Whereas in the lower motor neuron paralysis, the individual muscles they are affected. The size of the muscles, that is, there is no atrophy in the upper motor neuron paralysis, whereas in the lower motor neuron paralysis, the atrophy is a pronounced feature. The type of paralysis, that is spastic paralysis, occurs in the upper motor neuron paralysis, that is hypertonia. The tone of the muscles, it is increased because the inhibitory effect of descending tracts on the alpha motor neurons, it gets disrupted. The descending tracts via they synapse with the majority of the descending tracts, they synapse with the alpha motor neuron via inhibitory interneuron, and if this descending tracts they are disrupted, there will be no inhibitory control over the output of the alpha motor neurons. So the alpha motor neuron, there is increased tone. The gamma motor neuron discharge is increased. The gamma motor neurons, they supply to the sensitivity of the stretch spindle, muscle spindle, it is increased, and the gamma motor neuron discharge is increased, and that lead to hypertonia and ultimately to the spastic paralysis of the muscles. Whereas in case of lower motor neuron paralysis, there occurs the flaccid paralysis, that is, the tone of the muscles, it is decreased. The tone of the muscles, it decreased. The muscles, they become hypotonic. Hypotonic muscles or the flaccid paralysis. Why is it so? Because the efferent limb of the reflex arc, it is disrupted. The blood supply to the individual muscle or the nerve supply to the individual muscle, it gets disrupted. The tendon reflexes, they are exaggerated in the upper motor neuron paralysis, whereas they are diminished or absent in case of lower motor neuron paralysis. Why these tendon reflexes are exaggerated? Because of increased gamma motor neuron discharge. Because of the increased gamma motor neuron discharge, the sensitivity of the muscle spindle is increased, and we get the exaggerated response. Whereas in the lower motor neuron paralysis, the efferent limb of the reflex arc is disrupted, and that is why there is diminished or absent responses there. The superficial reflexes, they are absent in both. The Babinski sign in case of upper motor neuron paralysis, the response is extensor plantar response, whereas in the lower motor neuron paralysis, it is the flexor plantar response. Involuntary movements, they are absent in the upper motor neuron paralysis, whereas they are present in the form of fascicular twitches. In case of lower motor neuron paralysis, this involuntary movements of individual muscles are present, and they are present in the form of fascicular twitches. The EMG changes, there is no denervation potential we can record, whereas in case of lower motor paralysis, the denervation potentials, they are seen in EMG. The nerve conduction study, if it is performed, we do not observe any abnormalities in case of upper motor neuron paralysis, whereas there is decreased nerve conduction in case of lower motor neuron paralysis. So this is in short about the upper motor neuron and the lower motor neuron. Thank you very much.